This is the Hardballgets AFL show. My name's Nick Rynne, joined by Xavier Ellis and Ryan Daniels. What's going on, gentlemen?
Not much, really. Disappointed that my chicken sticks were out this morning.
No chicken sticks?
Well, there's one, and then he offered me the extra spicy one. I said, mate, you don't understand the rest of what I have up here. They put your extra spicy one up your ass. I ain't eating that.
So what's that? Are they making less of them?
No,
or is somebody else doing this?
someone else is there. Someone else is in there earlier. Yeah.
Maybe someone who listens to the pod and going, you know what, he's onto something here.
The chicken sticks. Well, how's he lost so much weight? It's the chicken sticks.
Yeah.
You ever feel like you're being watched?
All the time.
Look at this room. There's cameras everywhere.
I know.
You know, every
fully
studio
kitted out now.
every studio you go into, you've probably got cameras like that everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's you're never alone.
No.
So that's why when on air or whatever, and I'm lying through my teeth about something and flipping the finger to someone else,
Yeah.
they're like, mate, we can see what you're doing on
You
camera.
do it in here all the time.
Yeah, well now,
You do it in here all the time. I'm like, you're being filmed.
Like, I was so upset that Freo got rolled on the weekends.
The tent flap is open and you're not going in.
Oh, geez, I tell you, it's been a couple of big days for big man over here. Isn't he up and about?
Oh, he was requesting
level-headed.
teams.
Checking
Very level-headed.
flights to Melbourne in the last
Very
week and-
level-headed. If
I don't
only they'd won 2 of the games in that 0-5 start, or Port, or Giants would be on top of the ladder, would be premiership favourites. Bang!
What have we been doing this for? 6 years? You've
6
never
years.
requested a team in the
No. This is. I was
distribution.
talking to Rhino this morning. This is not a gloat thing. This is just I
Oh,
want to.
sure, okay.
It's a little bit of a gloat thing.
Oh, I'll be dick swinging.
It's Stiffy
Yeah,
related.
of course.
Stiffy
I
related.
agree. In 6 years, we've never had anybody request
No.
a team on the pod.
First time.
It's never
Unprecedented.
happened. We just take what you give us.
No, well, I've fallen in love with someone. Okay.
I know
Yeah.
you have.
I've fallen in love with
So it is
someone.
a bit gloaty. It is a little bit gloaty.
Well, just don't know if they love me back. But anyway.
Oh,
Hey, what were the numbers like on the pod last week? Did we do? I think we did good numbers last week.
we did good numbers last week.
Josh
yeah?
is putting the thumbs up.
Josh is giving us a thumbs up.
Big numbers on the pod.
Big numbers. Do you know why?
Why? Just because it's a good quality
No, because
program.
UFC's in Perth this weekend.
Right.
Can't wait. He actually interviewed Dreykus this morning.
Oh, okay.
Mate, gee, I said to him on the interview over the phone recently, I'd flog him if he was in the studio because he beat Rob Whittaker. I certainly didn't say that to him today. Yeah, certainly did. Do you know the belt they wander around with worth like $355,000 and they can't insure them?
Really?
Yeah.
Why can't
Yeah.
they insure them?
Well, because how do you reckon they carry the belt?
That's his-
In like
over their
duffel
shoulder.
bags and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty
And
easy
also-
to steal.
But who's going to steal it off a guy who won?
Yeah, that's also a
that's
good
the
point.
insurance. If you take it from him, he'll beat the living suitcase
Yeah.
out of you.
You going to the UFC?
I forgot it was this weekend. I went to the first one they did here with Adesanya's
Yeah.
debut. It was unreal. It's a great event.
Mate, it was the
so
best-
early though.
305 is this week. The last one with Volk, and don't get me wrong, Australian feel with Volk v Islam. The best sporting event I've ever been to in the world, inclusive of anything I've done
Yeah.
overseas, like the NFL, the EPL, the Champions League, all that. It was the best thing I've ever done.
Wow.
Ever done.
Really?
Big raps.
Mate, unbelievable. Can you beat this, Josh? I'm going to swear. At one stage, I yelled out of my seat, "F***ing kill the and I just sit there.
got swept up.
I sit there. This was when Volk was on top pounding. And I roared. Like, mate, and that would have been that would have been the bottom 10% of placid comments during that period.
So it triggers something barbaric. in you.
Oh,
Something
mate,
primal.
Yeah, shit, yeah. I was ready to throw in the street.
Okay, so
And it was 9:30 a.m.
So your theory as to why the pod went so well last week was because the UFC's in Perth this week.
No, because you and Tom Morris are going pound for pound.
Yeah, we hear you guys are the
That's
curtain
exactly
raiser.
why.
Piss off.
That's exactly why.
There's
Gee,
no fight.
I just got a little tweet last night popped up.
Oh yeah, I did see that. Someone tagged us in something, didn't they?
Ooh.
What's happening?
Right, the only big story coming out of Perth this year is Rob Murphy returning home, and Tom Morris got that. It's the only story that's broken this year in Perth, and Morris has slipped in again.
Bob Murphy's going back. Yeah, okay. The vibe doctor at the Fremantle Dockers is going back.
Oh, that's an insult.
No, that's
Bob Murphy
basi-
does way more than that. He's a bloody star.
Oh,
He got a
no,
week.
he's-
I think he got suspended once in his career for knocking me.
Did he?
Yeah, he got
I
me.
reckon he'd describe himself as a vibe doctor.
Yeah, no, he's good.
I reckon
I'm
he
a big
would.
Bob Murphy
Yeah,
fan.
that's right. No, he's crossing the border. I just had a look for that one, and I saw one I hadn't seen yet. Which you guys shat on me for that Survivor reference. People are still coming back with it. They said that Tom Cruise Olympic Games handover on the bike.
Yeah.
Big Jeff Probst Survivor surf ski vibes.
It's just you and one other dude.
It's everybody.
It's not. It's
Mate,
you
everybody
and-
loves this.
It's you and one guy.
You guys got to catch up.
What about the baton change from Paris to LA?
Yeah.
And then it was Billie Eilish, Snoop, Dre, and
Yeah.
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah.
I was doing this morning on
Well,
radio.
Brisbane.
Who's got Brisbane? I did a bit of
What's
research.
that?
We got Shepherd.
Yeah, I was going to say Shepherd.
Shepherd,
Really
and then
Shepherd.
I went Shepherd, Savage Garden in Queensland.
Yeah, Powderfinger.
Christine
No,
Arnaud.
Powderfinger. Christine Arnaud was the other one. They're the three that
My island home.
Snoop's going to pass the baton on to.
Or, you know who they're going to get.
Raygun or whatever her name is.
Raygun.
Raygun.
Just get her.
She's
out.
Can we
Queensland,
get
isn't
a bit of a vibe on that?
You hate Raygun.
I don't hate her. I don't hate anybody.
It was.
But she
You're not
shouldn't,
a
have been
Raygun fan.
she shouldn't have been in the Olympics.
She won the qualifier.
Mate, she was the stepbrother to Eric the Eel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except for Eric the Eel's from, where's he from? New Guinea, Gander or some bloody joint.
You kidding?
Where they don't have a pool. He swam on rocks.
He's practicing in a bathtub.
He swam in rock, like he swam over dirt. We've at least got a mat.
Yes.
She didn't score a point.
He was like the Cool Runnings of swimming.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. Eddie the Eagle. Good story.
But you don't like Raygun.
No.
She won the qualifiers, mate.
Against who?
She wouldn't have won a dance off at a wedding down in Scarborough over the weekend.
Look, I thought it was absurd. I definitely don't think she should have been in the Olympics. We must have somebody better than that.
Do you feel like the world's laughing at us?
Yes.
I laugh at everyone else. They're not meant to laugh at us.
But you know what this is?
Just get around Raygun, you
No,
guys.
this is prime 2024. This is now how you become famous. You do
Yeah.
something so stupid
Yeah.
that the whole world then goes, this is terrible, and then they start going, actually, it's pretty cool.
It's cool,
And
mate.
then everyone starts copying it.
She's
Then
out there
you
doing her
meme.
best. She's having a crack.
that-
Australian spirit. She's wearing the Australian one day
I'll
kit.
tell you what. I'll turn on. Yeah, she borrowing Warnie.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
borrowing bloody Howard's kit when he went bowling that day.
I'll ask you this, Nicholas. If you're in Freo, which you probably would be in Freo a lot, being you're a hipster,
was in Freo Sunday morning,
smoking
actually.
your joint.
doing your thing, smoking your joint, you're walking past Myers, the dishevelled Myers that they've got in Freo,
Yeah,
and
what are they
she's
calling
out
her?
there on a cardboard box doing that. Are you dropping money in that?
Mate, who carries coins? Has she got a little beeper?
Yeah,
Sure, she's got a beeper.
She got a $2 beeper
You're not
set.
doing it.
You're not.
I'm not.
You're not
I'm
doing it.
I'm a miser.
Yep.
No, mate, I was like staggered that people are like, "Oh, this is wicked." You're like,
No.
And then I saw the New Zealand high jumper who jumped under the bar. Did you see him?
But he
You're
won, didn't he?
I was like, yeah, he won gold.
Yeah.
He won gold.
Yeah, that's different.
We didn't score a point, not one.
The other thing I loved about that guy was when he went to the American, he's like, oh, let's split the gold. The American's like, no, I'm going to win. And then he's like, all right, mate. And then he just
Let's
beat
do
him.
it. Yeah.
That is instant karma, isn't it?
Yeah.
So they reckon now this is the name's Nina Kennedy.
Nina, yeah.
How she
She
won the
split
world
it at the
champs
Worlds, yeah.
and she split it
Yep.
with an American.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the Australian newspapers were like, marvellous, Nina, Queen Nina, what a
Yeah.
superstar.
Yeah.
And in America, they're like, weak as piss.
Oh.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
whole,
you're
you're not
there
a
to
winner,
win.
you're there to win, you've
Right.
surrendered, you hadn't
Well,
bothered. Yeah.
Now what happens? You get what you get. America, you get what you get. You know, Nina Kennedy and Declan Mountford are a couple.
Yeah. They
Are they?
Yeah, Declan
Is
Mountford.
he still playing footy at Claremont?
Yeah, he is. But he was at the Olympics, so he took a little bit of a break.
So
That's a bit of an easier sell than
Buckley.
Buckley.
Yeah, the world champion
Yeah.
going
I
over
can't
to
play
watch
for
your
Claremont.
partner win gold.
Yeah.
What was Buckley's?
She's a hurdler?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool, though. He's
that
a
is
great
sick.
fella, Declan. Really good guy. Really good guy.
That's two outstanding rigs.
Mine.
Declan's rig is unbelievable.
He's only short though, isn't he?
He'd be 5'8".
No,
no.
he
Wait,
wouldn't
what's
be
the-
5'8".
No, he'd be 6 foot.
This
He'd be
is
6
very-
foot.
Okay, 6 foot. That's a good stretch.
Yeah.
I'll play that.
This is creepy vibes from you.
What?
Oh, two great rigs.
Mate, I'm just saying, he's two very
Yeah,
good
but you know
looking
what I'm
people.
saying. If you're 5'6" and
I
your
would've-
rig's a bit shorter,
Yeah, I would have
It's easier to get the abs
I
compact.
just reckon you've got to get a bit stretching out for a great rig. There has to be height involved in a great
I
rig.
agree. I would have gone down the path of two great athletes. Imagine the kids. You know, you'd have like this.
Have they been
supreme-
dating forever?
A few
A
years, I
couple of
think.
years,
Yeah,
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 right.
a little while. Yeah, yeah,
Gee whiz.
yeah. Declan.
No, Nina. Not Declan. All right, let's
I
go.
think there you go.
Let's start with Port Adelaide.
Oh,
They're just first team on the list. I don't know why. Of their last 7, they've won 6 and lost 1. Dan Houston wants out.
yeah.
That's weird, isn't it?
With a long contract next to his name, and just making sure because I want to touch on someone else next. What's Dan Houston worth on the open market? I can't work out. My brother said to me the other day, you should do a segment around, are they good or not good? I
He's
can't work
good,
out if
isn't
he's
he?
good
He's
or
good.
not good.
Dan Houston's very good. When you attach the contract to them, they're worth more because the other club has to pay more to
What's
get
he?
it.
He probably 7'8". What's he
that?
paid to
800
Port Adelaide?
Money?
probably.
I don't know. The money's hard to get into,
Yeah.
but it's more about the draft, the trade. I think they'll have to give up a first, Mel.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Because he's
First.
under contract.
All Australian?
It was last year. Don't go too hard into All-Australian because I'm going to do something from last year's All-Australian to this year.
Okay.
But, Dan Houston out, which has surprised me because they've started to turn around. I want to shout out Kane's man. Francis.
That was a good game.
11 games this season, he's had over 20 and kicked a hot dog.
Yeah.
In 11 games. So that's
Cam Rayner.
That's Cam Rayner levels. Yeah.
Cam's done it 3 in his career. The Hornets done it 11.
In a row.
The Hornets done it 11 times this season. And I was fishing around for a market that had him top 10 in the Brownlow. Like they've now won enough games.
Top
You
10
reckon?
in the
Well, who's going to
Brownlow.
poll for Port?
Butters?
Early
Butters
and Rosie.
they haven't had their best seasons.
Rosie? Butters?
Early they did.
This man here, watch how many votes did he poll last year?
Oh, he did pull a lot.
Polled
15
it
or 16 or something?
North, I think.
Really?
Yes. I'm just keeping an eye on Horn Francis for a top 5, top 10 or something.
Really?
I reckon he's going to pull something out. I had a look at his numbers today. He's up high 20s and multiple goals
Jeez,
in a lot.
That is a wild throw at the stumps. I like it.
He's
Oh, yeah.
I think he's 100 to 1 for the Brownlow.
Well, because you know how
There's
you,
form, or like in terms
Mate,
of polling form.
Polling form, I reckon he's a sneaky top 5.
you know how the morning of the Brownlow and you're looking down the bottom of the list, you're like, there's just someone who I could
Yeah.
have a random
And
throw.
It's
That's
got to
the
be
one.
something in the last quarter surge into the umpire votes.
Yeah,
Like it's the most recent thing that happened in the game.
I
It's
nailed
him
Ollie
going nuts.
Wines winning the Brownlow because no one pinches. Butters and Rosie won't be pinching as many as you think.
Okay.
Maybe
All right.
Wines
That is
recently.
wild. Okay, let's go to the Western Bulldogs. Jeez, that was flattening. Look,
Yeah.
Do you know what's weird about this year? You have maybe the Dogs can win
Yeah.
it, and then they just put in a shit
Yeah.
performance.
What about
Like,
the high of Friday, Saturday footy
Yeah. Then that
into like
Sunday.
pasting?
Yeah.
I want to talk about Tim English. So I'll just run off some numbers for you because I think the perception is, for people who don't follow the numbers, is that Tim English is a dominant ruckman, wins a lot of hit-outs, all that sort of stuff. Now, we covered not long ago that he'd lost the hit-outs every single week.
Yeah.
And he lost them by 38, I think was the margin on the weekend. Now, his numbers for the season are he's 17th in the AFL amongst ruckman for hit-outs. 17th. So there's only one consistent ruckman he's beating. 13th in hit-outs to advantage. So you might say, well, maybe it's quality over quantity. It's not even really that. He's 25th among ruckmen for clearances.
Yeah.
And
Really?
21st among centre clearances.
So the one game that he won hit-outs this year, I've got the game Selby sent it to me randomly this morning.
Right.
He had 41 hit-outs, rucking against Sam De Koning, a premiership centre-half back,
Yeah.
and the Blit, who wanted to be in Paris.
Right.
Yeah.
But collectively, those two still beat English.
Really?
So English had 41, De Koning 31, and Blit had 11.
Wow.
So that was the only weekend,
okay.
only game he's won hit-outs.
So we then pivot and go, well, what makes him good then? Because he's not terrible.
Yeah.
We know Tim English is a good
Some
player.
around the ground stuff.
So his strength is this. He's 6th, but he's still only 6th in disposals for the year. So Marshall, Gawn, Grundy, Sherry, and Tom De Koning, all average more touches a game, which I was surprised by. I thought he'd be the most or second. But he is second for disposal efficiency. Only Goldie, who plays it very safe, is higher.
Yeah.
And that's amongst regular rucks. He's first in marks, and most of those are uncontested because he finds the space.
Well, that's the disposal efficiency and marks
he's
going together.
second in score involvements. So what he does do is he plays that extra midfielder, he finds space, he uses the ball well, and he helps in score involvements. But as a pure ruckman, he is not that
Well,
guy.
it wasn't a great weekend for Rucks.
No.
No.
I mean, Lockie Keith, who I thought he may have been in a nursing home by now,
Yeah.
beat the big O.
Lockie Keith just keeps
Yeah, I
on.
thought,
Yeah, we like
I thought
that.
the O was going to mount a caseload. He can't
Yeah.
get in too many of those. All right, we'll go to GWS. So they're becoming the big finishers, right?
Are they-
That's
are
2
they
weeks
the
in a row.
favourites?
I think that's why I got him. I thought edging towards
I
it.
said to Ted on the weekend, if the Giants make the grand final, I'll take him.
Oh,
Yeah, I've
Where
had
are
a
we?
few.
yeah. He had his bag packed the next
Em's
morning.
going back to work at Qantas. We'll get the staff travel. It should be okay, Ted.
that would be something. I loved the grand final week when the big sound.
Yeah,
that
the
was,
big sound thing was
that
awesome.
was so good.
That was good.
That
play.
was
And then
so
the game was
Well, that's when Ted
Dog shit.
fell for
the
the Giants.
Big
Yeah,
Big
he was
Sam
at the
went.
MCG. He was one. He had the jumper on.
Yeah.
Big Sam when he was a kid was his like little trigger song.
Great
Yeah.
tune.
Yeah.
Great
So they're down by 15 points into the last quarter, kicked the last 6. So the two players that really stood up, and this is sort of a sign of their growth and how they. I just think they've had that many good draft picks through over their entire existence, really. But for these two kids to pop up and have a say, Aaron Cadman and Darcy Jones,
Yeah.
they just took over that last quarter. Just said, "Oh yeah, we'll win the game."
Yeah, Cadman's an interesting one. You keep forgetting that he's the number one draft pick, just
Because he was a
and he's-
positional,
and he's
pick.
getting a chop out from who's now going to
Hogan.
run away and win the Collingwood.
Yeah,
Have
he's
we
gonna
heard
win it
what's
now.
happened with Charlie?
Oh, I think he's done for the next 2.
So there you go.
There we go.
He's going to
Jesse
run away with
Hogan,
the
Coleman
Collins. So
medalist.
he's getting protection from a big fella. He's got Toby, the captain, next to him.
Yep.
Not a bad little apprentice.
Very
Yeah.
good. And we forget, like we look at the King brothers, right? And we always talk about their potential and how they still haven't really reached their potential. That we think. Like Cadman's in year 2 of consistent footy.
Yeah, 2. Yeah, 2. Only 2.
Yeah.
And he's huge leaps this year.
Well, yeah, so he's got 3-4 more years before we see the best of him.
it's
So
huge.
this is a perfect scenario for him, and it's great for Hogan too because he's got this young buck that he can play alongside. He can bring him along.
If he can kick 2 goals in the games going out to the end of the season, he's done his job.
Darcy Jones is a midget, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
the
but
thing
so
about
good.
really small
So
blokes
good.
is they have to have one elite thing.
Speed.
Caleb Daniel was use of footy. Jones, no one catches this bloke.
Speed.
He is
He
out.
goes.
Do you know, and it's just... that's the
yeah.
from the grand final.
That's
That
a
was
winner.
the day he started being a Giant. So there you go.
That is a winner.
All right, let's go. I want to do something really quickly. Now, I did choose the Hawks or request the Hawks.
Yes.
But there's a guy at Hawthorn who there's 2 that I'm just in love with who are just having stunning
Can I
seasons.
guess? The Wizard?
Yeah, we're massively in love with him, but
Yeah.
him
Okay.
excluded.
Okay.
He's his own category.
Do you want me to... McDonald?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Like, I don't even think they're playing him in the number 1 spot at the moment yet, and he's still running around having 25. But Weddle.
Oh, yeah.
And I've chosen off the back of the Cadman chat. So I want to go through, and it'd be really quickly, just want to see where he'd sit in the draft right now. So Weddle plays defence, goes forward, chips in the ruck if he needs to.
Headless chook.
Absolute athletic as you get. I love when he kicks goals out his ass on the weekend. But he did the weekend before.
He's got the small waist, big chest thing. which I
Incredible
I like
physique
that.
to him.
What year was it?
2 years ago.
Okay.
So
Go, rattle it
just
off.
quickly, who would you go? Because he's picked 18, so we'll get down
Okay.
to 20. Cadman.
Probably some Cadman. Cadman for potential.
No.
I'd take Weddle.
Weddle. Ashcroft.
Probably go Ashcroft, but it's close.
Sheasel.
Jeez.
Right. Wardlaw.
Oh, shit. Good draft. Give me Wardlaw just.
Sardis.
No,
Yeah, Weddle.
Humphreys.
Weddle.
I wanted to say Humphreys, but it's Weddle.
Humphreys second year blues.
Mackenzie.
Weddle.
Weddle.
Clark. Jai Clark from
Jai
Geelong.
Clark. Weddle.
Weddle.
Ruben Jimby.
Weddle.
Weddle.
Filippo.
Weddle.
Oh, no.
No
Sean.
way.
No,
Nick, he's played 2 good games.
Nick, get your head out of your
I'll
ass.
stick with the poo.
I'm directing
What?
these.
I'm a big poo man.
I'm directing these to you now, Ronnie.
You've lost it.
Oliver
I'm a
Hollands.
big poo man.
No, definitely.
Fletcher.
Yep.
Buslinger.
Yep.
Yep.
Elijah Hewitt.
Yep.
Matt Jefferson.
Yeah.
Harry
who?
Rouston.
Yep.
Josh Weddle, Ed Allen. So I reckon I've got him picked 3 in that draft.
He's 3 or 4.
I've got
Yeah.
all I have in front of him is She's clear,
Yep.
and then I'm sitting there going Ashcroft, who obviously did a knee, and
it's hard to get a gauge.
Yep. Ashcroft, Weddle, and then I think it's Daylight.
Yeah,
I
well,
think
I reckon
Josh
Daylight.
Weddle, Daylight, and
I think Wardlaw's in the conversation.
Nah, I
this
still think
kid Weddle.
feeling for
10 weeks
Filippo.
ago, you were pulling yourself over Wardlaw, so recency bias, but that's the 4.
Wasn't pulling myself over him.
You love Wardlaw.
That's what I'm saying. I love him, and I can still
still going ahead
see
of him.
daylight of it.
It's a very good
He's
pick.
so the way he runs and bounces.
I remember at the time though, everyone was like, Hawthorn
is this?
loves this Weddle
Yeah.
bloke, and we're not really sure why. And
Bloody hell.
Jesus, you can see it.
Did a tough spoil.
Monster. He's a big boy.
Pick 3.
Okay. All right, Melbourne. Let's go Melbourne first. So, Cozzy Pickett, good game, 21 touches, 4 goals. And I thought, we always are a bit harsh on Pickett.
Well, he's another one of those Houstons. Is he good or not good? Who knows?
Yeah.
So I ran the numbers on him. How old is he? Guess. Go the old.
23.
Yep. Yeah, he's 23. So this year, how many goals do you reckon he's kicked?
He's getting towards 40, isn't he?
30.
34. 34 goals. He's kicked multiple goals 11 times this season in 19 games, I think it was. So this
He
is
did kick a 5.
He's
and
kicked a
4.
5 and a 4 and a 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting my years confused. This year wasn't the 2-footed elimination of someone's head, was it? Was that last year?
because that was Bailey Smith.
This
wasn't
year.
it?
Was that
That was
round
last
1
year.
last year?
Pretty sure it was
Yeah.
Bailey Smith.
I couldn't remember. I knew it was round 1. I couldn't remember what year we were in.
You need to lay off the weed.
Back to Freo for you, Red Dog.
So I just did a comparison to those sort of small, medium, sometimes half forward, sometimes forward pocket guys. Stengel's kicked 30. So Pickett 34. Stengel's kicked 38. Toby's got 37. Cameron 33. Keys 32. Higgins 31. Bolton 30. Papley
So who's-
30.
He
Curtis
doesn't
30.
break
Who's
out of
the
that.
All-Australian small forward? We argued about, we discussed this in a group chat during the week.
Who were we talking about earlier? Oh, we're talking
It's
about
probably
Rankin before he got
Well,
in.
I said Stengel, and the Geelong supporters giggled at me saying he's not even the best small forward at Geelong.
Well, Grine.
With Grine.
But I don't class Grine as a small
Yeah,
forward.
but then I go, I think Moore and Brett Daniels are on those little...
So no small forward at all. Because I think they're half forwards.
Now, pick someone like a Moore or someone in that. More Australian level, you reckon?
Yeah.
He's over the last 10.
Absolutely.
Shit,
But I would say I would have named him on a half forward flank.
Yeah.
But if you need to fit
That's
him in by shoving him in the pocket, I'm okay with
Do you reckon
that.
that might happen?
Yeah. I'm just saying Pickett's not that far off the pace. I think we're pretty harsh on him.
No,
he,
but see,
he plays in a forward line that has no
They are so
main
boring.
guy.
But he's talked
If you-
about as being more than that. But he's just a small forward.
But if you put Cozzy Pickett with, I don't know, let's say
A-key forward.
Mackay and Curnow, he's kicking 40 and he's having a great year.
But they do say, oh, gee whiz, you can't have Cozzy in both spots. You can't be in the midfield. You can't be in the forward line. He's not at that level.
Yeah. I think one, he gets a bit of an unfair rub, and I think he's playing better than we think.
Yeah, okay. Fair call.
We'll jump into Carlton. I feel the same thing happened to Cam Rayner as happened to Carlton, just the opposite direction. As soon as I stopped believing in my position, as soon as I went in, I went, actually, no, Carlton are good and Carlton can win a premiership.
I'm done today.
We're
I
6
can't do
clubs
anymore.
in. You are 0 for 6.
No, as soon as I was pretty staunch for years. Carlton are no good. Cam Rayner is good.
Right.
I decided Cam Rayner wasn't what I thought.
Yeah,
and then he went nuts.
Yeah.
And I decided
okay.
the Carlton were
weren't
actually
good.
good.
Okay.
And then they've gone shit
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, okay.
This is the same feeling. You see what I'm talking about?
You did there.
It's the opposite direction.
Yeah.
As soon as I changed my position, I'm proved correct in the
Do you
first
know,
place.
it's exactly the same time that I said that they'll win the flag.
Yeah. And they're no, like, they're just, look, if Cripps doesn't turn into Superman, they're no good.
Yeah, they've gone from 2nd to 9th in 6 weeks. Did you see I think it might have been on 3AW with Sam McClure and
Sam
Richo?
McClure.
And they were talking about how Carlton, Collingwood and Essendon were in the top 4 and they can't see them falling out.
It hasn't happened since the war and all this sort of stuff.
And now they're all out of the 8.
None of them are going to play finals.
And
done.
I'm not bagging those two out because we all do it. We all make grand,
Oh, God.
I'm
I'm 0% chance that Brisbane will win the flag.
But it's
Zero.
It's just what it is it's a sign of how unbelievable this season has been. It's like the Bradbury season.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, mate.
Carlton 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, they're the best team.
Yeah.
Then we go, maybe it's the Brisbane Lions. They lose at home. Maybe-
GWS.
GWS, watch them lose one of their last games.
Well, Freo beat them this week.
They'll go to Ballarat and lose to the Bulldogs.
Did
or
you
something.
see the mini Bradbury last night in the Olympics, the cyclist?
Yeah.
How he was last
yeah,
and then
yeah.
the 3 in front toppled. He rolled over for third.
I think he said it, didn't he?
I don't know,
There's
did he?
vision of him mouthing the words, and I think he says, I think I just did a Bradbury.
Oh, right. There you go. Yeah.
No one's proven it yet, but it looked very much like that.
That was interesting too because when he did get the bronze and they celebrate, they were against the GOAT of the circle racing, whatever that's called.
Circle
And then
I think that's what it's called.
And then they're like,
Is it the Kieran?
yeah, the Kieran. And then there was the 3 and forward, and then about 3 minutes later, they're like, the 3 that fell still have not moved, but we have 4th because he slid over the line in his stack. I was like, all right,
Don't worry about those other guys.
Went from the Kieran to like 50 bikes going around in circle. I could not work that one out.
Anyway, who are you picking this week out of Carlton and West Coast at Optus?
Mate,
Oh, you said it seems, but there won't be Sard, there won't be
no Curnow.
No
Curnow, there won't be.
West Coast are pretty good at home at the moment. That is a danger game.
Yeah, I know. I think it should be Carlton favourites by an absolute small
And
little one.
we'll get to Freo, but they need Freo.
Yeah.
Freo need West Coast
Well, the
to
paper
win.
was interesting today
Yes,
with them all
yes.
dressed in
the Freo
dressed in
dress.
West Coast gear.
That was good.
Hey, let's roll over to. I want to talk about St Kilda. Actually, I'm going to chuck them in there.
Really?
I think we're overlooking the All Australian.
Romo.
I think we're trying to make an argument around Sherry, around the big
Yeah.
O there from you last week.
Marshall was excellent.
Marshall
Yes,
kicked
probably is.
3.
but
But I think if you deep dive it, he's had a lot of excellent games.
Yeah.
A lot of excellent games that we just
Yeah.
when someone we're cheering for. I'm cheering for the ruckman in a helmet.
Yeah.
When you're cheering for him, you go, wow, look at that. That was a big game. But he's still probably at the level of Marshall. Then Marshall gets out of himself occasionally and goes
I
bang.
reckon Marshall's narrative has become, in the NBA, they have like the Zach Levine, good stats, bad team guys.
yeah.
I think people are starting to think of Marshall as,
Well, he's a stat
he
grabber.
puts up a heap of numbers, but they're no good. And does that mean that he's no good?
Yeah.
So I reckon that's what happens with him.
Yeah.
I think he gets a bit
But
of
I
a
think that's
stank.
unfair in footy.
So do I.
Because he's
so
not taking
too.
he's not taking 30 shots.
And
He's
he's-
only getting as many bounces as you
And he's
ball
not
ups
a
you get.
big, massive ruckman. He has to work really hard.
He always looks sore.
He does, and sometimes I'll watch him and I'll be like, I thought he was bigger than that.
Yeah.
He's not as big as you think.
No,
so.
I think we're overlooking it. And just quickly, last week, of course, The PR stuff around the Taron Thomas,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
St
Oh,
Kilda.
that was, yeah.
What did you make of that?
So I know-
did you hear Mason Wood was the one who spoke out?
Yes, I did hear that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
I
would
wasn't
have played with him at
surprised.
North.
Yes.
I know for a fact that multiple teams have been called about Taron Thomas about, hey, would you like to?
Don't take the meeting.
And they've just been no's.
Stick to the
been
call.
flat out no's.
Yeah.
And by the sounds of things, St Kilda weren't aware of that meeting either, other than one of their staff members. So it's interesting. And the AFL statement that came out afterwards, which was just like,
We've
it ain't
said
happening.
this. That's what to start with, like, as we've repeated many times.
Yeah, that was.
But don't you think that would have been the first thing to happen? Was you won't, you're not coming here because you can't come here. So
Yeah.
what's the point of?
Well,
Yeah.
I think that they were thinking that if there's a way around it, then not St Kilda, but the people looking after him thought maybe we can sneak him in the side door
Right.
here.
Because he's still suspended to the end of the year.
He is. I'm just trying to look up the
He's not
statement.
he's deregistered almost, wasn't he?
I'm not sure. I'm really far. I just perked up. I was like, Taron Thomas to St Kilda.
Can we just extend Josh? Is that possible?
We're extending St
So
Kilda.
this-
It's a
it
weird
read-
day.
Weird.
It's the first time that's ever happened.
Yeah.
It read like a parent who's told their kid off so many times.
Yeah.
And they're just done with it, right? So this is a statement attributed to AFL CEO Andrew Dillon. While we have communicated this several times already,
Yeah.
to reiterate the AFL's position and make it crystal clear, Taron Thomas is not eligible to play football or sign with any club. He is not eligible for the draft, and he is not eligible to be recruited to a club. It goes on after that.
Yeah.
I just thought the tone of it was
Oh,
just
yeah.
so
But I thought the tone of it was half to Taron Thomas, half to the journos who kept ringing the media matters. Like, nothing has changed.
I actually think that is to everyone in football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop calling about
Give
it.
me the computer. I'm punching an email out. And I'm not thinking about it for 15 seconds, and I'm not running it by lawyers. Bang, done.
This
send
is it.
Cop
Yeah,
it.
we're done.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's St Kilda. We can wrap that up. All right. Who are we
you now?
going on to? Yeah, it is. Let's have a look. What have I got on this list? Geelong. I tell you what. That performance from Patrick Dangerfield
what
was.
the hell?
He just threw one back, didn't he?
How does he move that quick?
you know.
How old is he? 35, 36?
Did have to laugh at the goal from the goal square
Well,
that he didn't kick.
Yeah.
But he amazed me 3 times with his speed. One was early in the game to shut down a switch when he played forward. And I think Embers at the time said on Triple M, I'd love to see Danger in the midfield now. The game's getting slightly away from him in the midfield. And I was like, you don't even just see how quick he was then.
Yeah.
Then there was one they got out the back. He was out the back and they butchered it.
Yeah.
And he was like, he hadn't got endless efforts like that. And
No.
then the one that got out the back and he
It's
missed.
a short burst.
Well, we were calling that game, and I called it a goal.
Yeah.
Because at some point you just got to back him in.
Yes.
And he
just
somehow
fell over.
Especially a Brownlow medalist, Paddy Dangerfield.
in the goal square on his. He just didn't pick the footy up. He just tried to
he
half
couldn't,
volley.
mate.
I think I
It was
said
bizarre.
after the game, we've seen that version of Danger getting 35 touches.
Yep.
But there was none of the typical midfield touches in there where they quickly throw it over there.
No, it was all
It was
bang,
20 touches,
impact.
Yep.
11 clearances,
Yep.
8 inside 50s, and 3 pack marks.
It made me think about Dusty, and because two of the power players of the generation.
Yeah.
Pick one career. You can have Patrick Dangerfield. Let's say you're a supporter, and I take you back 15 years, and I could say you can have one of these guys for your club for the next 15.
Oh, I'd just measure it on the premierships.
Yeah, Dusty. You got
three,
three norms.
I
Hannah
think,
Brown,
it's Dusty as well.
But did Danger play well in that grand final?
Yeah, he did.
He played unbelievably well, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
almost got.
He
the
almost won the North Smith, yeah.
Yeah, he was close.
I think the closer, because Dusty has a bit of a leg up with the norms, would be Fife Danger.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. All right, go on, pick one of them.
Danger.
Danger.
Because of the premiership.
Yeah.
Premiership, I always just loved the way he just had that speed.
Yeah.
He gets
I
to live
thought-
in a couple of different cities as well.
I thought too, like with Dusty and Danger, it's like the interesting thing is they're so different with their personas.
Yeah.
Dangerfield is
Yeah.
Mr. Media.
Going
He's
to the media,
extrovert.
will live in
Players
the media.
Association.
Yeah.
Clearly, he's going to be in the media
Yeah.
post-career. He's
Yep.
still already in it now.
How many times do you reckon Dusty's popped into punt roads since he retired?
I don't reckon any. We may
Wow.
never see Dusty ever again.
No.
One owns half of Richmond, one owns half of Torquay.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go on to let's go to Fremantle. So last week was obviously different, but it just looked like on the weekend sort of no Tracy, no Dockers, didn't it? The big long ones down the line, which you said 2-3 weeks ago.
You did actually
No one
say
more
that.
important. They can't do it without him. Just showed these big bombs, and they also made it seem like they made a mistake. And this was probably how late? Like, did they know ahead of time with Darcy? Because you probably the
Yeah.
Taberner and Voss just didn't work.
So I definitely heard throughout the week that Darcy was sore and that he was struggling to get up, and because it was after that Essendon game where he got mauled.
Yeah,
And I was like, something wasn't right there. Either he had the worst game of his life or he's not right.
Yeah.
So I think there was something. They reckon that they gave him right up until the last minute. So remember the teams were named an hour before
He was out there in
he
the
was
kit.
in. He goes out to the warm-up, left knee
Well,
straps.
they wouldn't pull a player that late if that's the case.
You don't reckon?
No, he wouldn't do it.
So they thought he was right.
Yeah, you would not after the teams are announced. You do the late change when they more as a respect thing to Geelong too.
Yeah.
Like you're not.
Although Geelong are
Although
known.
that's what Geelong.
No, but Geelong late change.
They love it.
But
They
they
love
late
it.
change in the window of late change.
You're
That-
saying
I
they
just should have had a ruck.
Reedy?
Yeah, it was fine. It's fine having one of Voss or Taberner, but they're both kind of they really didn't have an impact at all.
I
They were
agree.
two
Well, I missed
missed
that two
spots.
disposals at halftime too.
Yeah.
He was in that. As
but-
Kerry would
but
say,
you
the
can-
orgy of
But
key
he
positions.
that can happen with him, and then he can kick goals. The others, you're just not confident the goals would come.
I think you're right, because I think what happens is if you say that their forward line works best with Tracy, Amos, Jackson, and when they've played together, I think we've seen it's been good.
Yeah, but
so
take
you're
two of
removing
them out of
Tracy
there.
and Jackson. You're putting in two blokes who were playing for Peel the week before. I don't like it. I will ask Justin
And Reed-
Lonville tomorrow
yeah.
night, like, why not Reedy? Why Taberner?
Reedy's had good, he's had good performances at Peel.
I felt sorry for Voss because he was in the right spots every
He just
time.
dropped
His
it everything.
hands just...
Don't.
And if
No,
that's
don't,
Tracy...
you're not allowed to mention that name.
Paddy Voss.
Yeah.
It was just...
Because you threw me clean under a bus.
Yeah?
Nick, you will love this. It was so good.
I was rooting for it, and I always cheer for like
You
the
battlers.
the battler a bit.
I wish we had the audio. We might be able to get it. So Vossi's marked the ball. He's on the sort of half forward flank.
Yeah,
about
yeah.
45
He'd had a rough
out.
start,
Oh, yeah, I remember this
fumbling,
kick. I know
fumbling
this kick.
everything, and
Yeah.
we're cheering for him.
Yeah,
Like,
and so he's gone back and after you've made the call for the mark, and then the special comments guys take over and they do a little spiel. Anyway, Zave's giving him a massive rap. He goes, he's very good at this part of the game.
he's had a rough start, but he does this part pretty well.
I just gone 3 goals 10 for the year.
Yeah. And then he sprayed that
And
one.
then he sprayed it.
He
Sprayed
almost
it.
hit us in the box. It was the worst kick you've ever
I was
seen.
so humiliated. I went back through his waffle form, and his last 6 weeks at Waffle, he'd kicked 19 goals, 11.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Where's that?"
Dave went quiet for 12 minutes
Researching his waffle
stuff.
career.
Nah, it was classic. It was absolutely. I never get a chance to throw him under the bus on the live call. It was poetic.
What about me? Who just punches everyone on the way, all the way through the call too.
The next 2 hours, he was so salty. It was like every single thing he could go. Yeah, it was classic.
You're coming over to me.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, what do you got?
Let's go to Collingwood. And I was just looking at they've fallen completely off the cliff. And is Nick Dacos a lock for All Australian?
No, it's
No,
not.
he can't.
No, he
be.
can't.
It's funny you say that because I went through last year's All Australian side, and I don't know what the turnover is of All Australian. So this is Collingwood. I was going to actually bone them today. I'm done with Collingwood.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
just going to bone them, but I
Yeah.
thought, no, bugger it. We'll go Nick Dacos. The All Australian team last year, really quickly, and just James Sicily. I don't know if he'll make it.
No, he won't make it.
No. Wilkie,
No.
Tom Stewart,
No.
Dan Houston,
No.
Darcy Moore,
No.
Josh Dacos,
No.
Tim English,
No.
Zach Butters,
Probably
Yeah.
not.
nah.
Butters should get there.
Christian Petrarca,
Nope.
No.
Taylor Walker,
Nope.
Charlie Cameron,
Nope.
No.
Connor Rosie,
No.
Jordan Dawson,
No.
Nick Larkey,
Nope.
Caleb Sarong.
Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, but he's still competing against Zach Merritt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I reckon
he'll be
Merritt's
there.
in.
So
Yeah.
Toby Green.
No.
So we got 2.
So you got Charlie. Charlie Cameron, haven't said. Charlie.
Cameron. No,
Cameron-
Cameron's
no,
out.
Cameron or Curnow?
Curnow. I reckon
Well,
Curno's
I don't know.
maybe.
Okay, well then Bont
Bond, yes, that's 4.
and Goulden on a wing. It's an easy layout.
5.
That's a
That's
big
all there
year-to-year
is.
turnover.
That is big turnover from the All Australian side.
That's remarkable.
That's what I do. I bring the goods.
They'll squeeze some of those in there just because.
Oh, I don't know
they're
who you could
infatuated.
squeeze. Who could you squeeze in?
They'll probably leave Curnow in there, but you'd argue Hogan and probably more than
even,
go past him
I'm
now.
rooting
Hogan's
for Sarong.
in.
I'm rooting for Sarong hard because
I think he gets in.
Yeah, but then you go right. You got Cripps,
Yes,
who's
he's
Brownlow
in.
favourite.
Yep.
You've got
Heaney and Warner.
Heaney, Warner, and then you've got who else made the late charge for the
Lockie
Brownlow?
Neal.
Lockie Neal's in there.
Yep.
And you've got Bont, Cripps, Dacos, Neal, Merritt, Trelaw. They say is a lock.
Well, Trelaw's the one who's come real late. So you might find that it's 2 of Sarong, Trelaw, and who was
Merritt?
And Merritt. No,
Merritt.
I think Merritt's in.
But this is
But
like the
so
Dacos
even
probably,
Sarong's
yeah.
is not a lock. A lock.
Not a lock.
It's interesting.
Yeah. You might. This might be one of those weird years where the Brownlow medalist doesn't make the All Australian
If
team.
Sarong, like Pritter.
Yeah, doesn't happen often.
If
Yeah.
Sarong wins the Brownlow, you might not see me for a week.
Ted's going to the grand final business
I
class.
might not see me.
Okay, we're up. All right, let's do this. Essendon.
Oh,
Well. Haven't they just come back to the pack? I notice No notifications from Essendon fans this
Where's
week.
Kev? Kev's gone missing.
They've all gone
Dude,
quiet.
listen to you. We've already done Freo, and all of a sudden he's back alive.
Oh.
You just
Yeah.
sat there very sheepishly
This
doing
is-
the old heave-ho.
This is
Yeah, I'll ask JL about that,
remarkable.
actually,
What
tomorrow
a
night.
tortured club. They are the most...
I
No,
like that dig.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I missed that one.
I'll have to ask JL tomorrow night.
Fremantle, don't worry about how tortured they are. Carlton at the moment, no, they're fine. Essendon is the most tortured fan base in the AFL. How do they
Yeah.
go from winning that game by 1 point? Heroic. Here's some hope. Maybe we'll get there.
Well, they would have been in the 8.
Yeah, they would have been
Yeah.
in the 8. And then you kick 1 goal 9 in the final term.
Don't.
Even the one where Gresham, where he's given it the old push in the back to Butterick. Did you see
Oh,
that?
yeah.
And the Essendon fans have gone mad.
Yeah.
And I'm watching with no
High
sound on
fives
with a
everywhere.
bunch of people, and I was like, oh, it's got to be a free kick. But he celebrated. He did 6 laps
Yeah.
of the oval, and then they've pulled it back.
Ooh.
And then Big Mac Andrew, hey?
Can I say
Oh.
something outrageous? So Matt kicked 4
Well,
last
we're going to get
week.
to. I'll get to
3
Mac
and
in the
4.
next one. Hang on.
3 and
Okay,
4.
hang on.
Right,
Hang on.
we'll get
do
to
Mac
Mac.
next.
I honestly, Essendon, I am so done.
Is it the last 3 after the goal after the Sirens have
it's
all been against Essendon?
I told them a month ago.
And they haven't had a goal after the siren since like 1911 or something.
This isn't about me. This is about, if I'm an Essendon supporter, I'm doing this for you. You need answers and you need consistency.
But
for
again,
your
they've
club.
been good enough but shit enough. They're going to have an average draft
Correct.
pick.
Yeah.
You're going to get
So
picked
So
another
their
Archie
past
nine
picks have
or
been
whatever.
Hobbs, Sardis,
Yeah.
off the top of my head, first round.
Yeah. Sardis was 5.
Then there was the
Pick
Archie
5.
Perkins year where
Yeah.
they had
Cox.
Perkins and Cox and
And who was the other one in that
Harry
one?
Jones.
Jones.
Is
it Jones?
He's shown a little bit.
Yeah.
Harry Jones.
They all
okay.
show a little bit though. They all show.
They haven't got a
little
star.
bit.
But they haven't got someone spoke about earlier, Horn Francis, where you go,
Yeah.
gee, I can see a ceiling there.
And the guys they recruit are always the next tier
Oh,
down.
don't.
All right, we'll get to Mac.
I used to be an
So-
Essendon supporter. Still, it's starting to hurt me, Eddie. I'm starting to feel it.
Really? Yeah, how big were you? How big were you?
Oh, as a kid.
you
Is there
nothing?
nothing left in there? Zero.
No, zero.
Not even 1%.
No,
Did the whole family turn the Hawks?
they were already Hawthorn.
Oh, were they?
My dad was Essendon,
Yep.
and he just turned to whoever he had money on. But no, everyone was Hawthorn, yeah.
So Gold Coast, we've talked for a long time about who's their star, who's their big dog. It's
Yeah.
Mac.
It has to be.
It's gone Mac.
Big Mac.
And going forward, he's gone for 2 weeks. He's kicked 7 goals, including a match winner.
So you've got Walter down there as well coming through,
Yeah.
who they have big,
Yep.
big raps on.
That's the 3 now, right?
well,
King.
but how does it work?
King Walter and Mac Andrew.
Yeah, and they'll come along together. Now, just
I think
make
Mac-
that work.
I think Mac's the swingman. So I think
No,
Mac,
but he's so good.
I don't think he is.
He's got to stay there.
I think-
wherever you want.
I think I'm going to go out on a limb like I did Horn Francis. I'm going to see what Mac's doing for the Coleman next year.
What?
Mate, he's
Mate,
7
I'm
in 2
telling
weeks.
you, he
The
just
Coleman.
jumped. Mate, have you watched it? Did you call the other?
Yeah, no, I've watched
He's so
it.
long.
But his patterns and stuff.
I know, he's very good.
He was taking chest marks against West Coast
is
with
it-
no one near him because it was unbelievable.
That one, is it? I don't know how Essendon don't put a body or anyone jump with him for that last mark, but he seems to do it all the
Yeah,
time.
you
Hold
can't.
on,
He
hold
just
on.
jumps too much.
Just pump the brakes a tad. I love
Nah.
Mac Andrew. He's
Weddle
playing
and Mac,
ne-
they're taking it over.
He's playing next to Ben
What are they
King.
paid as
And what happened
If
against...
you put a gun to me and say to pick one for my team,
Mac.
I'm taking Mac.
So what happened last week when Ben King went off?
Mac kicked 3.
No, he didn't. He kicked him before he went off. And then he struggled after
Yeah.
that. I'm just saying it's
Yeah, but it
nice
works
having-
as a-
But then King came back on.
It works as a
Works as a
combo.
triple
That's
treat.
great, but you need both of them.
Yeah, but that's
You just
okay.
throw Ben King out because you got
No,
Mac.
no,
No,
no.
you're
But if
not.
I had to pick one,
It's Mac Andrew.
I'm taking Mac Andrew.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Because he's done
Hey,
that.
you-
He also did. That was his first week playing forward, probably in his
Yeah,
life.
yeah.
Second week, yeah.
No, last week.
Oh, you know he's the guy that Melbourne should have had. NGA.
Yeah,
Yeah,
NGA.
and the changes would allow them to have him now or something.
Yeah, there was like a small window
That's-
where they're losing.
That's rough. No, he's excellent. He's fun to
He's
watch.
so good.
I was watching that game with people who had no affiliation to either club.
Yeah.
The lounge room had 20 people in it. We went off like it was the grand final after
Yeah.
that.
Really?
Everyone went mad. Just because everyone was kind of wanting Essendon to lose.
Oh, no, I wasn't. I was
Everyone-
cheering.
piss off you were.
Cheering for
Yeah,
them.
and it just the Sam Collins, by the way.
Yeah.
that or the
Shout
body on
out
Draper and then
Well,
Two.
he stuffed it
Yeah, the first
first,
one.
and
Yeah.
then he got it back.
That second
and
one
then-
where he somehow got in
Yeah.
front of Draper. And if you honestly, Freo fans would be like, that'd be right. Draper morphs back into other
yeah,
Draper.
old
Yeah,
Draper
yeah,
this
This is
week.
what we're talking about this whole time.
Yes.
Do it every week.
Correct.
Oh, my God.
So annoying.
Anyway, the Suns won an away game too.
Yeah, broke the 17 game
Of course it
losing
was
streak.
against Essendon.
Yeah, I know.
Of course.
Yeah, after the siren too. Let's go to Brisbane. Okay, so just quickly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games they've lost.
Yeah.
Now there's a pattern here, Nick. And I don't know whether you're going to pick up on it or not. We're just going to have to try and we're going to have to walk you through it.
He's not going to pick up on it.
No,
Is it Cam Raygun
I think the last the last year or so, I reckon we've said maybe 5 or 6 times on the podcast, and a bit of a joke, they're pretty selfish in the forward line.
Yeah.
Even on the weekend, Joe was 70 out and
Had
waited to
pings.
roll and had a ping, and I was like, you kick that one in 10. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
The games they've lost, this is how well they've kicked at goal. 8 goals 16, 10 goals 15, 8 11, 4 13, 10 12, 10 10, 12 13. Not one of those games have had a positive goal to behind ratio.
Bad kicking.
Which sometimes you'd assume that there's been, they lost, but it was a shootout. It was 15 goals 10 to, 16 goals 10 or whatever. I reckon, honestly, the snaps and stuff that they're doing and launching from outside 50 and...
It's not working for each other.
I was bitten them in the arse 7 times, not even looking at it.
So-
I just think it's bitten them in the...
Yeah.
I need to go through it a bit closer, obviously. It's not that simple, but 16 behinds, 15 behinds, 13, 12, 12, 13.
So you're saying not on the eye test, it's not that they're missing 40 metres out directly in front.
Well,
They're not just missed
We're
kicks.
spoken about Joe, and then I think they even said in the call the other day that Charlie Cameron took a shot from somewhere he shouldn't have, and he goes, well, that's what happens. That's the flow-on effect of having the ball launched over your head 10 times.
Next time, I'm going to have a
Eventually, you
crack.
go, fuck it, I'll have a go.
Yeah, because I might not get the ball
Yeah,
again.
correct. And then
Yeah.
Old Country Road's not playing.
Yep.
No one's up and about.
Yeah.
I don't know, just keep an eye on that, where they're kicking for goal, because you don't want to go into a grand final again and go, oh, shit, we kicked 8 goals 16 and we should have won. Because on the weekend they kicked 8-16 and the Giants kicked 4 behind. So whatever their goals were, there's the game.
Do you know what I reckon I'd do if I was a club and I was doing contracts for players? Let's say I'm the list boss of the Brisbane Lions. I would say, instead of and I'm not sure if this is the case, how they have incentives. It's like, Joe, if you kick 50 goals, you get an extra 50 grand, whatever it is. Charlie, same for you. I would always make sure it was goals
Completions.
and goal assists
You
or
get a-
score involvements.
Get an outbreak
No,
of Tom Hawkins and Jordan Clark in the square.
Yeah, I don't necessarily want completion because then you get them getting tentative. I won't take a difficult shot if I have to.
Okay.
I'm just saying all of it so that they get as much reward for the pass
Yeah.
and the connection as they do for their own individual goal.
Goals to assist
Do you think
ratio.
I've been strong today?
I feel like this is one
You've
of
got
your
some
best.
strong points.
I've got a couple of
Yeah,
nuggets.
I
Yeah.
feel like you have gone pretty well.
Was it a
happens when
light morning on radio this morning? Or?
Ooh, yeah.
I wouldn't say that.
That's why I didn't have a beer or anything over the weekend.
Oh, really? Mental clarity.
That's probably what it is. Imagine what you could do. Imagine what you're
I'm actually
capable of.
starting to stress that my voice has been going. I'm like, now I need to do everything to try and fix this.
The West Coast Eagles, second time in 1,100 days that they've won 2 in a row.
Yeah.
It's been a long... But yeah, the other time was this year as well, so that stat didn't really
Sydney
work out.
Freo?
I had to stretch it back. Richmond Freo. It was, yeah. McGovern.
Sid does say Sydney. What an idiot.
Jeremy McGovern should be in the All-Australian team, I think.
No,
I think
you can't. You're just ruled out.
He's
Yeah,
been
no.
unbelievable. He has been unbelievable.
If you're a Freo supporter,
Yeah.
would you be arguing Pearce?
Well, how many
They're
McGovern
different.
makes?
Ryan?
McGovern, you're going for centre-half back.
Yeah.
I think he's had a better year than Luke Ryan.
Okay.
I think he has.
Okay.
Yeah. I think you're talking about centre-half backs rather than just key defenders.
Yeah.
If you're looking for an actual centre-half back, I
Who
still
else
think
around
he's the best
league?
one.
There's not a lot. There's no one knocking down the door for defensive posts this year, is there?
I think your guys who are in that conversation, like
Harris Andrews will be in
Wiedering,
there.
Harris
Yeah.
Andrews.
Wiedering will probably
But they're
be
not-
in
they're
there.
not-
Sam Collins'
they're-
name will get mentioned,
Yeah.
but he won't get
I
it.
think those guys start there because of what they have.
No,
done.
no.
Like, have they had off the charts?
No, they've
years?
had good years.
They have a good
They've
years,
had
but
good
not
years.
like.
They weren't in the team last year. I went through that about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, Wilkie was
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Wilkie, we did it 5 minutes ago, mate. They're already getting the lift because they were in it last year.
Holding over.
None of
I
them
mean,
were in
just
it.
like body of
None of
work.
them were in it.
Body of work.
You know, this might be your best and this might be your worst.
Nah, that was my worst was set a
I'm
few
just
weeks ago.
hovering.
I'm not going back down
I'm
to those
hovering
levels.
right in the safe space in between here.
They're still trying to work. Matty Crouch is back playing, by the way.
I saw that. I got that as one of my points.
Oh, good.
I know everyone who attended said about
I always like that. How many games do you get a footy on the weekend?
He's like a 3.
Good. I like it.
It was serviceable, and I probably sampled more flicking, but yeah.
Yeah,
Are we
nice.
warming to Schofield even more so?
Oh, I'm just scarred by caretakers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Reece
just
Shaw went
caretaker.
4 or 5,
Yep.
then coached 29 games total. Teague Train was all the momentum around Teague Train, sacked after 2 years, and then Rats after Richardson, 3 years, and then sacked for.
Yeah.
What have I said?
But
Hey,
I think
I like Schofield. I've always, and I don't like him from the Port day. He was a brilliant coach at Subiaco.
Yeah, he was.
Brilliant.
But I don't mind that because the next coach of the Eagles is getting sacked, at some point anyway. You know
what
I
if
mean?
they gave him 2 years? Would you be against that? They said, here's 2 years, see what you can do.
Oh, no, I'm not against it, but at the moment,
Yep.
you've got to go through everyone. Like, you asked me about David Hale today, just randomly.
I did,
chewing the fat.
Yep.
You got to go through everyone. I'm just a big fan of fresh eyes. Not using the same eyes to fix the problems that you've got.
Yep.
That's what I'm big on.
Okay, all right. Who are we up to? That was me, so it must be
That was you. So, okay, well, let's go through Adelaide. So slight changes, obviously big changes. Isaac Rankin comes into the side.
Mm-hmm.
But what they've done in the middle, so last week...
He's now clearly their
Best player.
Yeah. And the barometer and everything.
And he only
in
had
between.
15 touches or something, but that's all he needs to turn a game on its head.
Well, it's funny, before he did injure himself, he was up around the height of
23,
mid-20s.
30, yeah.
And you go, well, geez, this is a real version of Rankin.
And that is, it looks like things are starting to come together for them, and like in a post-Tex world as well, because Fogarty has stepped up a gear in the last 6 weeks.
5, yeah.
Thriller. But he seems to enjoy the fact that Tex has been out. Like he's like, okay, I'm the big dog.
Well, the
now,
Tex
and I'll throw it
was
around.
pretty good yesterday.
He was, yeah.
But then he would, then
I still think it's
something
time.
about his field kicking that I just froth.
He's a very
he's
good
very
field
good.
kicker.
And
Texas-
do you know what I like about Tex too? The amount of times I reckon I've watched Adelaide and gone, geez, they've got nothing here, and he leads up so far.
Yeah, he makes that.
And he takes that mark just in front of the defensive side of
Could
the
he
wing.
do a late Jack Rewalt? Yeah, Jack was
Just
the
become the assist
traditional.
guy.
Well, was
Yeah,
the traditional
could.
because he kicks it as well as anyone. Tex
Yeah.
Walker.
You still,
Maybe.
Do you know what I mean? He gets up. He's not paid a great deal. Your two keys, and he knows the two blokes that we want to hang our hat on is Thriller and Fogarty.
Just
and
make it work around them.
maybe works up on the wings and can roll.
I
and
reckon
kick out
the risk
foot.
with that is they haven't been that good. And so Richmond could do that with Revolt because they were so good.
because it was Tom
But they
Lynch.
weren't that good until he changed
Until he
his
started
style.
doing that.
And
He's
then,
not
Tom,
the
and,
man
then, and then
anymore.
Tom Lynch turned up too.
Yeah, then Tom
Well,
Lynch,
that
they
helps
didn't.
too, yeah.
But they just seem to have changed something. So Dawson pretty much fell out of the centre bounce rotation.
Yeah, but that was
same as
Dawson's best
Saligo.
game of the year.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
and that's why I think it seems to work better if they're a little bit out. So they went with, it was Crouch, Berry, and then Curtin had a lot of looks.
She's Curtin just
Curtin,
showed
that's
enough.
That's
Glimpses,
just
yeah.
like,
Yep.
put him in the middle, put him forward.
I was so happy for him because if you're him and you're a top 10 pick and all that, and you're watching all these other kids have their moments,
Yeah,
Kirch's had his
correct.
moments, and
Yeah.
Harley's had his moments, and Watson's had his moments, and you're like, when am I getting my
Am I gonna
chance?
get a
I'm playing
game?
in the Samful, I'm out of position, what am I doing? And then he has just that quarter where he kicks a couple, sets
Yeah.
up another one, and it's like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
He's off and racing. now.
and you can see him as that, like, you still don't know where he's going to play.
No,
He can play a bit everywhere.
So I don't think he can be a midfielder in the long run, but something he can hang his hat on going to
yeah,
pre-season.
yeah, he gets
Yeah.
2 more
Three
weeks.
big games
Yep.
at the end.
Yep.
I can play at the level. Happy days. Let's go to North Melbourne. Shout out to those guys for getting pumped and then on the siren and costing something. The Eagles got their 5th win for the season, which was a surprise to a lot of us. Hey, let's go to McKercher, who I think would have been the shortest favourite to win the medal had he played enough games.
Yep.
This is his first-year players, last 8 games since this season. 32 touches, 30 touches, 30 touches, 37, 25, 22, 31, 37. Wow. On the weekend, he had 37. I was like, shit, I wonder how many kick-ins he had. He took 11 kick-ins. So he's still got 26 touches. And he's going by 89% by foot on the weekend.
And taking kick-outs as well.
He's as good of a kick. When you get drafted, you get told, they rank your kicking like excellent down to shit. Even
the official category.
Even the kids who come in and they go, like, I love Langford's kick in the under 18s.
Yep.
But at AFL level, he's going to get a real rude awakening when you come into AFL level.
time.
And there's zones and there's no time and there's pressure and you've got to find a pocket of space. It's kicking from 18s to AFL is hard. It is bloody hard to work it out because you don't want to kill your teammate either by just popping it into space. The Sheasel model for McKercher. Do you think that's what North are doing?
Yeah, I think so.
Go down back, find the footy, get confident at level, and then we'll
bring you in.
Well, it worked so well the first time. Why not do it again? Are we sure he can't win it? I know he's.
I was just thinking that.
I've had a look.
The bookies say absolutely. It's
bookies say
$1.10.
he can't. Bookies say he can't.
Well, Wardlaw's $1.10.
No, Dempsey's $1.10.
Dempsey's $1.10 now.
And then the next favourite is Wardlaw at $21.
No, don't. Have a look.
Really?
McKercher's then at 26. Am I crazy?
It's going to be because they always pick it on the full year for the Rising Star.
He's played 14 games.
Yeah.
Well, 14's not bad.
So he gets to 16.
He's averaged 24 disposals.
Mate, he's been off his head.
Like, are we that? Is it that crazy to think? Now, clearly...
Not when you know he played
He's
16
taking
games.
kick in, so he's getting the leg up on his numbers. I'll pay that.
So that's 2/3 of the season he would have played.
But that 8 games there is better than Dempsey's
I love Dempsey, but
CV.
are we sure that... Are we sure?
Oh, it's probably worth having to wait and see what's going on. There's a history of...
Who's the one who punted?
There's a history.
King. Just keep an eye on King, his bet slips.
Don't say that. I think he was not guilty, was he?
Oh, let's move on. Is it me? Yeah, Sydney Swans, that's my last team. Geez, a couple of concerns still. I know they won the game, but it was hardly convincing. Callum Mills, it's not working yet.
No.
I know he's just come back. He got up to 82% game time. It was all theirs in the 60s before that. Playing on the wing a lot. John Noble, you would say, beat him on the night, even though he didn't really have a huge influence either. It was sort of just a nothing matchup. Parker's starting to get a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah, you could tell at one stage there, he was like, oh, please just jump on my back for a little bit.
Yeah.
The Luke Parker of old.
Feels like the mojo's off.
The biggest concern was their biggest success on the night.
Yeah.
14 disposals to Heaney in the last, 14 disposals to Warner in the last, and Goulden, who didn't touch the footy, because side bottom got him.
Yep.
But you're not getting that ever again this season.
But that's when they were good. It was because those three were dragging them across the line every week.
Yeah, they were doing it every
them
week.
Up.
Yeah.
And so you're exactly right. They only won that game because those three guys
went
lifted.
mad.
Now, if you shut one of them down, like they did with Errol.
Errol's the one you go to.
Yeah, clearly.
Every single day, because also, as I've said 1,000 times, every team, especially in finals, have a good midfield. So when Heaney goes in there first week of finals and he's playing against Brisbane, well, he's going to be standing next to two-time Brownlow medalist, or he's going to be standing against Dunkley.
It's a nil or draw most of the time.
But I reckon out on those wings, that little bugger Goulden who gets down to the back line, right to that back pocket and gets a little late and then runs it all the way back down. I reckon he's the one I'd be circling very much
There's
first.
almost no player in the AFL who if you're the opposition, would want having the footy in their hands less.
Yes.
He is the guy. So if you could stop him getting it 28 times and keep him to 15, you're probably going to win the game.
Yeah, correct. Correct. And even so, you just look at the Fremantle. I'm just literally looking at it later. Like Hayden Young's going to be standing next to Heaney. Warner's going to be standing next to Caleb Sarong.
Yeah.
Like, there's no, in finals, massive advantage.
No, true.
But him out in that wing where it's one-on-one and side bottom, he was coming off the half-forward line early to get onto him. And I was like, because I was watching closely, and I thought his side bottom just coincidentally next to Goulden a lot. And then there'd be a goal and side bottom wouldn't be next to him. But then sure enough, he'd come back up, come around, grab him, and off he'd go again. Yeah,
it was a really well-played game.
Was.
I got Richmond. And
finish this up.
No, I'm just
Stiff
going to stiff bullet.
Yeah.
We don't even talk about Richmond anymore.
Yeah.
Good.
Righto. That's been the 2-minute warning. Thanks for listening. Come back again tomorrow for the mailbag, which is definitely recorded on a different day. And we'll see you then.